One day, I woke up and asked myself, what would happen if I tried to run up a 14,000-foot peak? Flash forward 3 years later, and I'm getting ready for a 28-mile high alpine self supported trail run. And this is all the stuff I'm bringing with me. I'm Meg, and I'm a wannabe trail runner, and I want to talk to you today about my pack loadout here in the mountains. Now, this is a Solomon 8-liter women's active skin. I picked it up used at the REI garage because I think the prices of running packs are criminal. So, first up is an item that I did not put up on this table because I just didn't have enough room, and that is my trekking pole. I'm doing the four passes loop in one day. That's about 28 miles from my start point with 7,800 feet of gain. Having a pole in the mountains helps tremendously with the uphill. I also have about a meter or a yard of duct tape wrapped around the pole for added supplies and safety purposes. Let's talk clothing real fast. Usually, when I'm running, I'm in running shorts and a sun shirt. I also wear a hat and sunglasses. However, I always want to have a few key layers with me just in case something goes wrong or the inevitable storm shows up. So first, I've got a really ultra lightweight puffy. This one's from Mammut. It weighs about 7 ounces, and honestly, it's very old. They don't make it anymore. It's been an excellent layer for me. However, it's about ready to die, so I'm going to be replacing it soon. The next thing I bring with me is my Frog Togs ultra lightweight rain jacket. Now, this thing doesn't breathe at all, so I'm probably going to sweat and be quite miserable. However, at 3 to 4 ounces, it's really hard to beat the weight for this thing. Another pretty unique thing that I'm bringing that I usually take with me in the mountains is a spare pair of socks. If something were to happen and I'm in an emergency situation and I only have one pair of wet socks, that can be pretty dangerous as hypothermia can set in a lot sooner. So I'm bringing a spare pair for safety. Next up, I got my gloves. Really nothing special about these. Don't love them. I've just had them forever. A buff, which can also be a headband, a neck gaiter, a pre-filter, a tourniquet. It has so many uses that I'll never leave one of these at home. I also have an ultra lightweight skull cap. I like this because it's super packable. However, it doesn't fit over my ears. But when you're running, I prefer that because there's a way for heat to escape. Now for a little potty talk. Every outdoor person's favorite. This is my poop kit. It's got toilet paper, a few bags to put my toilet paper in or use as a wag bag if I'm up above tree line, and some hand sanitizer. This is the only thing I'm taking with me on the four passes loop. I will be digging my holes with sticks and rocks at the advice of my friend. I've never done that before. Usually, I always have my deuce of spades with me. This is just a really nice ultra lightweight shovel. You can wrap some duct tape or Leuko tape around it if you don't like the handle. And because I don't like to squat and pee all over myself, I have a pee funnel as well as a very handy Kula cloth. This one is from my friend Allison, and she dreams of Alpine. The other things that I bring with me is a sunscreen stick. Sunscreen sticks take up a lot less room and weigh a lot less than liquid sunscreen. This is a Joshua Tree sun stick. It's really, really expensive. I happen to love it. If you don't want to pay that much for one of these, you can get Blue Lizard. They tend to be a little bit cheaper. I also have Mega Babe Thigh Rescue with me. It's a really low cost anti chafe bar and it doesn't weigh a lot, which is excellent. One thing to note about this is if it's marketed specifically to women, surprise, surprise, it costs an extra few dollars. So just make sure you're doing your homework when you're looking at anti chafe sticks. And then, of course, I have UPF lip balm. I have used this on my face in a pinch in many instances. Having a UPF lip balm is absolutely essential. These are a little bit pricier, but they do make more budget friendly ones. The next thing I always take with me is my ultra lightweight first aid kit. This is a first aid kit combined with a gear kit. If you want to learn about what's in here, definitely check out my video where I talk about DIY first aid kits. The next thing I also bring is my Nightcore NB 10,000. This thing weighs under 6 ounces. Now, most people probably aren't going to use a battery pack. However, because I'm going to be out there taking lots of video and audio for you, and my phone battery low key kind of sucks, even on low power mode, I'm bringing this as a just in case. Of course, I have a charge cord as well. I also bring my Gerber Dime. This is a 2 ounce multi tool. It is one of the lightest on the market, and I love it because it's a multi tool. A lot of ultralighters and trail runners probably think I'm insane for carrying something like this. However, I've had to use the pliers, tweezers, knife, and scissors on trips before because I'll be starting in the dark. I have my headlamp. It is rechargeable. I can also charge it off my battery pack, so I don't need to bring spare batteries. I've had it for years. It's super durable, and the battery is still going strong. Another thing I bring with me that you may or may not want to have are headphones. When I'm backpacking, I will use wired headphones. However, I find they don't stay in very well if I'm running. I also have a Garmin InReach Mini. Now, This is an absolute must have in the mountains, but there are a few quick things to know. Number one, if you're going with a group, you can get other people's Garmin numbers and text in the field Garmin to Garmin, which is really handy if you're moving at different paces. The next thing to know is the carabiner that the Garmin comes with is absolute trash. I replaced mine to be a lightweight but ultra durable Gossamer Gear carabiner. You can use a climbing rated carabiner as well. And now, hydration. Hydration is super important on a trail run or anytime you're in the mountains. My running pack came with 2 half-liter soft flasks. I will put electrolytes in one and I'll have water in the other, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. For filtering, I have a Katadyn Be Free. There are two things you need to know about the Katadyn Be Free system. Number one, the soft flask it comes with is kind of annoying. I find it leaks quite a bit. So I put a little bit of plumber's tape on there and it seems to have helped, but you do need to make sure that the cap is fully screwed on. The next thing you need to know that's super important for trail running is that you have to pre-wet the filter before you go. So I will pass about a half liter of tap water through the filter to make sure that it's wet, because there is nothing worse than being out on the trail and having your filter slow trickle as you fill up. Ask me how I know. For hydration, I like to do double duty. Scratch Labs is my go-to because they don't really upset my stomach. These are also 80 calories a piece, so I am drinking on the go. And for this trip, I'm going to have 4 of them. Speaking of electrolytes, another thing I take with me are the Salt Stick Electrolyte Fast Chews. I really like these for quick action if I'm cramping up or maybe I got behind on hydration for some reason or I need a boost. I do not take the whole bottle with me. It's just easier to show you them here. And now you can see a solid third of this table is dedicated to snacks. I have a little over 3,000 calories worth of food here. Everyone is going to be different, but what's really, really important is that you're intaking a lot of carbs and fats, things that can quickly be broken down into energy, and you're intaking a lot of salt. I have a balance of actual food here, and some of these I'm still sort of honing in on. But the number one thing I'm always going to have with me is something like Cheetos. They're just really high in saturated fat and salt. And for the weight, they pack a pretty good calorie punch. The other thing I'm always going to have with me are my sweet treats. I love, love, love Sour Patch. And I find that having that sour salt helps keep my mouth feeling less dry. All right, here's all the stuff. Now, let's fit it in my running vest. All right. So I miraculously managed to get everything in here. And I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of extra room. However, there are a few important things I want to know and mention about how to pack. Number one, anything that I would need in case of an emergency, with the exception of my Garmin InReach, is all towards the bottom. So the stuff I don't really think I'm going to use, I packed at the very, very bottom of the pack. And then I put all the stuff that I know I'm going to have to get in and out, in and out, in and out throughout the day at the top, such as my water filter. I have my second round of snacks up here, as well as my headlamp, because I'm probably going to start with that on and then put it in my bag. I went as far to load every inch of the pack. So even up here, I have items that I can use. Next, I want to talk to you about the front of the bag. Now, if this looks crazy, it's because it is. But there are a few things in the front of the bag that I want to have handy. Anything that I think I'm going to be using throughout the day, I want within a hand's reach. Plus, I also had to save some room for my phone, which I'm using to record this video. So I have my favorite snack up here, my electrolyte tabs, and my electrolytes in this side of my pack. I also eliminated one of the electrolyte packets because I put it in my water. So now I know which side has the electrolytes. And I tend to keep most of my sugar on one side. On the other side, I have my Garmin InReach because I want to be able to press that without having to take off my bag. Say I take a really nasty fall and something happens and I can't move my neck, I want to be able to reach that Garmin InReach and hit the SOS button. I also have my pee funnel up here and a quick layer or two. Things that I haven't packed that I do have room for, there's a little bit of room down here for, is my car key and my rings. I take off my ring when I run because my hands swell and then I cannot get my ring off and it starts to hurt after a while. So I'll put it in this zippered pouch right here. And I keep these folded up because the more you fill this bag, the more in your face the water drinking tubes are, but they're really easy to just cinch down and out as I need them. Now, this may look totally insane, and it definitely is. But as I go along, the bag will loosen up a little with my sweat, and I'm going to be eating stuff. So it'll get easier and easier as I get more and more tired. Want to know how my trail run went? Then you're going to want to check out my next video, where I give you a first person view of how hard I suffered to run 28 miles in one